Iron Man. He's always been a beloved character full of strength and charismatic energy, which is why at the time this 1979 comic, which represented his deep fall into alcoholism, was so poignant and quite controversial. Demon in a Bottle is a 9-issue story arc from the comic book series The Invincible Iron Man, published in issues 120 through 128 in 1979 by Marvel Comics. The story was created out of the writer feeling that Tony Stark might face some daily pressures as a superhero, and Iron Man is represented here as a man, not just a hero, simply struggling with stress and alcoholism. The story was truly a lesson for many and struck a chord with fans of Iron Man and Marvel Comics. Iron Man issue number 128 dons this now iconic image by John Romita Jr., which at the time was certainly uncommon for spinner racks selling these kind of books, and was written by Dave Michelinie and Bob Layton. The story opens up with an unhelmeted Iron Man having a few drinks from a liquor bottle. He muses that his life as Tony Stark had been so chaotic that he should just give up his civilian identity and just be Iron Man. He dons his mask and he flies out for adventure, but forgetting the window was not open, smashes through his window. He soon sees a gas tanker that is derailed, and he tries to help officers on the scene by removing the tanker, but he drops it, releasing the gas and making matters much worse. Tony Stark later is reaching for another drink to be interrupted by Bethany Cabe. She urges him to stop, recounting how she had just lost her husband previously to pills. She spends days with Tony Stark, keeping him from the bottle. It is a constant struggle. Sometime later, a rejuvenated Stark tries to mend fences with Edwin Jarvis, who had recently resigned in the last issue after being berated by a drunken Tony Stark. Accepting Stark's apology, he agrees to return to work for Stark and the Avengers. As S.H.I.E.L.D. had been attempting a hostile takeover of Stark International, Stark is particularly interested in Jarvis' small amount of stock in Stark Industries. Unfortunately, Jarvis has put his stock up as collateral to secure a loan. Contacting his loan officer by phone, Jarvis is told he is unable to get his stock back. Soon, Iron Man pays a visit to the loan officer, Mr. Benchley, and accuses him of impropriety and destroying his office in the process. Mr. Benchley insists that he cannot return the stock because he had already sold it. A dejected Stark returns to Avengers Mansion and he reaches for a bottle of alcohol. Bethany Cabe again urges him not to do it. After several long moments of contemplation, Tony Stark recaps the bottle. Then Bethany and Jarvis applaud his decision to stop drinking. On a side note, the last page of this issue has a piece of strewn paper that says, "So long, JR," as this was the last issue at the time for artist John Romita Jr. I'm quite sure that the MCU will not adapt this storyline exactly as Bob Layton and Michelinie portrayed it here. But in Iron Man 2, Jon Favreau noted that in the scene of Tony drunkenly carousing during a party in his armor at his residence until Colonel James Rhodes intervenes is probably the closest he intended to adapt the Demon in a Bottle storyline. Demon in a Bottle has now been recognized by critics as the quintessential Iron Man story, one of the best superhero sagas of the 1970s, and one which continues to influence writers of the character today. And with the character having such soaring popularity in the modern landscape of superheroes, I thought it was worth taking a closer look. And folks, you already know, it's been a comic book minute. Like, share, and comment, and subscribe, folks. And as usual, we'll see you on the next one.